Howdy y'all, welcome back to Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Brent. We got a good one for you today. But nah, seriously, today I've got a probably going to do a little bit of a rant video. But first we're going to talk about our garden trellis back you see right here behind me. We have several videos this past spring where me and Amber built this garden trellis and planted it. We were very successful with this year. Now, as you can see, all the plants are dead on it currently, simply because we live in Central Texas and it's been 107 degrees here for the past, I don't know, 110 days or so. So we expect, I know there's a lot of other places that y'all probably got one continuous growing season, but for us, we have a couple months in the spring and a couple months in the fall. If we get a lucky year, we may get some plants to go through July and August, but typically that just doesn't happen. So we plan on things like this trellis, where this past July, like the first week in July, I went ahead and cut water to our irrigation to this trellis. Now on this trellis we had a couple different varieties of bean, we had some peas, we had squash, even some cucumbers, some cucumbers on it, and it was all very successful. We grew several 100 pounds of produce off this, but I intentionally cut the water to it just to save the water. We're going to talk about that here in a minute too. But for the water conservation, we shut it off in July. I let the plants die back. I actually stopped harvesting the green beans, and we have a bunch of pods like this now. We're going to save the seeds out of these pods. We're going to crack them here in a minute. And this fall, we're going to see, I've still got the original seeds, probably a half pound or so, that I actually planted these beans with. But I want to do a comparison whether our seed saved beans versus the original store-bought beans are going to produce more or less. So we'll see. But I guess in the meantime, I'm going to collect some seeds or the bean pods off of here, and I'm going to get over to a table here in just a minute, and we're going to talk about today's topic. All right, now on to the more tedious part of this process. Requires a little more patience, not really a whole lot of skill. We're just getting these little beans out of their pods, and I really am curious to see how or what the germination rate is of these seeds versus whenever I purchased them from a reputable seed supplier. You know, our method of drying them out versus theirs. Just curious. We'll see. That's what homesteading is all about. We're doing little experiments, trying to provide and make ourselves more self-sufficient, more self-sustainable, more ungovernable. You know, I've been trying to mention that. I've been mentioning those words in my videos almost every week. For those of you that have been following along. But my rant for this week is we've had two municipalities in the general area that have lost water altogether, or just lost water pressure to the point where they're recommending the citizens boil their water. And of course they posted it on social media, and I partake in different levels of social media. And I couldn't help but notice that some of the people that were just losing their minds over the fact that they couldn't believe, they thought they couldn't take a shower. They were screaming, you know, commenting on several posts that they didn't have anything to drink or anything to cook with. And, you know, I just couldn't help but think, you know, we stay as sufficient or self-sufficient as we possibly can here with our rainwater collection system and different food preservation processes and what we grow. And that's a choice that we've made. But these people, we live on the Texas Gulf, you know, the Gulf Coast. We're a little more central Texas. But, you know, we're fixing to come into hurricane season, and these people, they've lost their minds over an hour of, you know, or even just a couple hours of not having drinkable water or being able to take a shower. What's going to happen when a hurricane hits the coast and you have no electricity or no water for weeks, possibly a month? I mean, I just don't get it. You know, you know, and I get, you know, not everybody wants to be a homesteader, or even, I don't want to call it. We started off as preppers. We turned into homesteaders because we realized that we had to reproduce our own goods. But not everybody wants to do that. But to no level at all, just a couple of hours, people lost their minds. Hey, I don't have any water. What do I do? How am I gonna, you know, what am I gonna eat? What am I gonna cook? I can't take a shower. Really? You have nothing? You've prepared nothing. I don't get it. I really don't. And I want to know y'all's thoughts on this, you know? So if y'all got any comments or anything to say about it, leave it down in the comments. You know, I'll reply to you. I'll tell you what I think if you got a question or whatever. But I truly do believe everybody needs to be self-sustainable, at least to some level. And from what I saw this week I mean, it wasn't just one person, it was multiple people that, hey, what am I supposed to do? How do I have to go out to eat now because I can't cook at home? Really? And then the whole cooking at home thing, just in this past week, I found it was probably, she was in her middle 30s, had no clue how to cook. I mean, never cooked a meal in her life. And I asked her, I said, so what do you do? Well, I go out to eat, or I fix a bowl of cereal. You're in your mid-30s and you've never cooked a meal in your life. And she didn't care to either. She absolutely did not care. Completely amazing. I don't know. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. I think the world's on a nasty spiral downhill, but I don't know. We'll try and get a better video for y'all next week.